Hey fourthies, welcome to our language lesson for today. I believe we should be on page 89. I can't really, 88, sorry. I couldn't tell from here. So page 88, we're going to look at pronouns. So last week we looked at facts and opinions, the dictionary, synonyms, which are words that have similar meaning, antonyms, which are words that have opposite meanings, homonyms, which are words that have the same sound, but they're spelled differently and they have totally different meanings. So now we're going to look at pronouns, okay? Pronouns. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. The noun the pronoun is replacing is called the antecedent. So let me show you, or let me explain what that means. Sienna is in the 4th grade. So here's the example. Sienna is in the 4th grade. But if you don't want to talk about Sienna, you'll say she is in Mrs. Walker's class. The antecedent is Sienna, right? Because when you say she, you're like, who are you talking about? You say, oh, that's the antecedent is Sienna. These are the pronouns we're going to study, all right? And I know there are a lot of them. They actually fit in different categories. Like this is category A, B, and C, and they do have names. I'm just not gonna spoil it and tell you what they are yet, but they do have names, okay? There also is a song. I don't know if you, I know it's been a while since your 3rd grade days, but I did teach a song to the 4th graders last year about pronouns, and I'll sing it to you. Okay, it's in the form of the birthday song. So I'm going to start with I, you, she, he, it, we, they, me, you, him, her, it, us, them, my, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, it's our, ours, their, and theirs. So that's how I remember the pronouns. A teacher friend of mine had taught me that before. Alrighty. Let's look at think A, and I'm going to leave it like this so that we can spy the pronoun chart in the corner here. We're going to circle any pronouns we see. All right? Any pronouns you see in this column or that column or that column. Ruby and Oliver will show us their Swedish grandmother, how their Swedish grandmother makes a special treat. You see how when I read it out loud and I skipped the word, it didn't make sense, so I reread it? That's what good readers do. When it doesn't make sense, reread it for better context. All right, I see 2 pronouns, us and there. That's it. Now the antecedent. Let me explain that. Remember antecedent, this word here. Who is us talking about? It doesn't say, but who is there talking about? Who showed us their special treats from their grandmother? Ruby and Oliver. Okay, now you don't have to do anything about Ruby and Oliver. I just wanted to show you what an antecedent is. So let me recircle us there. Number 2. Ruby said that she will heat butter and milk in her largest pan. I see 2 pronouns again. Do you? I see she and her. Okay, number 3. Ruby, will you combine the milk mixture with yeast and cardamom? I only see 1 pronoun. You. That's it. And if I'm going too fast, I'm sorry. It's because I already know the pronouns so well. But again, if you're not sure what the pronouns are, use this chart. And I will give you an opportunity to do the rest on your own. You can do the rest on your own, and then later at our Zoom meeting, we'll get together and we'll compare our work, or we can just finish it up together. Let's do number 4, okay? Watch Oliver as he adds salt, sugar, and flour to her ingredients, meaning Ruby's ingredients. So Ruby would be the antecedent to that sentence. So watch Oliver as he adds salt, sugar, and flour to her ingredients. So I see 2 pronouns, he and her, all right, which are here. Right, now, you can try 5 through 8 on your own, which would be a great exercise, really, because this is a lot of this is like level 2 thinking, because you're just reading the sentence and you're looking for the pronouns. That's it. It's like a word search. Yeah, it's a word search basically. And here is your word bank, right? So go ahead, give 4 or 5 through 8 on your a shot, but we'll review it at our Zoom meeting. Now, for think B, think of a noun that the pronoun might be replacing. In the blank, write an antecedent for each pronoun in parentheses. Let me explain, okay? Look at number 1. It says, we are learning so much this year. Who's we? I don't know who that's talking about. Well, we have to make up our own we. And that's what the antecedent is. It is the people, the nouns to which the pronouns are referring. So for we, you can say, and you cannot say like, Mason and Natalie are learning so much this year, because you have to include yourself. That's what we means. It's you and some other people. So you can say Natalie and I are learning, or Mason and I are learning, or Miss Zavera and I are learning, but you can't just name 2 random people without yourself. So I'm going to put here, Miss Zavera and I are learning, because I'll just talk about myself. Miss Zavera, and I know it's a small space, but my name just happens to be long, and I, all right? And by the way, the proper English would be Miss Zavera and I, not Miss Zavera and me, because it's at the beginning of a sentence. But again, spoilers, that's for another lesson for pronouns. Number 2, he did his best. So he did his best on his arithmetic homework. Who is he talking about? What's the antecedent there? Mason? Broden? Caesar? Who is he? I don't know. So you get to pick a name, all right? You pick the antecedent. I'm going to say Abe. That's my dad's name. Abe did his best on his arithmetic homework. Right. Number 3, and then we'll do 4 and 5 at our Zoom meeting. Mom brought a big plate of cookies to them. Who's them? I don't know. You make it up. You make up the antecedents. This is where it gets fun. It's like Mad Libs. So Mom brought a big plate of cookies to them. I'll say my neighbors. Oh wait, my neighbors, this way. Dustin and Eve. Those are my neighbors. Okay, so now, if you have different answers, that's fine. You can share at our Zoom meeting. We'll do 4 and 5 at our Zoom meeting together. Oh, last part. Use proofreader marks. I love it. So, use red, or let's use another color like purple. So we're going to use periods, maybe, quotation marks, commas, apostrophes, question marks, and then we have to also underline 3 times the words that should be capitalized. Let's do it. Good morning, boys and girls, said Mr. Walsh. I'm glad you're here today. So nice. Okay, well, Mr. Walsh, I'm assuming is your teacher. He is saying something, so there is a speech bubble. There's a speech bubble. So we got to imagine, what could he be saying in a speech bubble, as if this is a comic, right? I think he's saying good morning, boys and girls. That's for sure. Good morning, boys and girls. So I'll put quotation marks around good morning, boys and girls, and a comma, because guess what? He kind of pauses, or the sentence pauses. Mr. Walsh is not going to say, said Mr. Walsh, because that's silly. There's just like a pause. There's a period here. But then this part that says, I'm glad you're here today, he's still speaking. So that's inside his speech bubble. So I'm going to put quotation marks around I'm glad you're here today, and a period after the word today. But I also noticed that there are still some errors. For example, there are comma errors. Like in good morning, boys and girls. Since he's speaking to the boys and girls, we need a comma after morning. Good morning, boys and girls. And then in the I'm glad you're here today, I'm should be capitalized. Like, come on. And then you see how this your, that means I'm glad you are here today. So we need an apostrophe. Right there. And then that's it. We're good. All right. Number 2. We will begin Bible class by singing a song, and we will read 1 Corinthians 13, 1 through 6. So I know that Mr. Walsh is speaking, but there's no dialogue tag. That's a word we haven't said in a while. The dialogue tags include laugh, said, replied, commented, read, whatever. But there's no dialogue tag. But I know he's still speaking. So although I know he's still speaking, there's no dialogue tag, so I don't need quotation marks. I do need to capitalize the beginning of the sentence. We will begin Bible. Bible needs to be capitalized. That's the name of the Word of God. We will begin by singing a song. Song doesn't need to be capitalized because I'm not naming a song. First Corinthians. Now, Corinthians needs to be capitalized, like capital C. And then I need a period after core because I am abbreviating Corinthians. And I need a colon after 13 because we have the chapter and then the verses. And since I'm done with the sentence, it's a declarative sentence, I'll put a period. So that's what it looks like, right? At our meeting, we'll finish up with 3 and 4, all right? So, to recap, we looked at pronouns. Pronouns sometimes they take the place of a noun, and the noun that it's taking place of is called the antecedent. We have these pronouns here, and I'll sing the song. I, you, she, he, it, we, they. Me, you, him, her, it, us, them. My, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers. It's ours, their, and theirs. And you know what? Since you have older siblings who were once in my class, you can ask them, do you remember the pronoun song? That'd be interesting if they did. Thank you very much, Fourthies. Now, if you didn't finish any tests on Jupyter, please work on those. And also watch the math video.